If you looked at my blood under a microscope, you would see Katniss and Peeta. These are the problems. Both of these are the issues that I'm having in life right now. Girl, this is blood marked. This is not even the right book. 2 purple books have ruined my life this month, and we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna do a full review of both of these books today. Now, I'm gonna do the no spoiler reviews for both of them first, so you'll get a warning before any spoilers pop up. It's fine, you'll be fine, okay? I think my problem in life is that I was exposed to the Hunger Games. I think that's the actual issue. That series started my love for dystopian, the entire genre. I'm not gonna start crying, that's crazy. That series started my love for the dystopian genre, and the fact that I am now 25 years old and a new one has come out that kind of like reaffirms my love for the series, it's really hard to see and really hard to read. Not even just that, because, like, you know, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes did come out a little while ago, but like it was Coriolanus, and I personally, as much as I adore Lucy Gray and adore the Covey, Coriolanus still makes me want to kill him. So it was hard getting through that book. It was really hard for me to get through that book. I love the movie. The book was really hard for me to get through though. But either for me, there would be no Legend Born had there not been Hunger Games for me. Hunger Games is the reason I started reading books like this in the first place. Now, Legend Born, mind you, is less dystopian, more sci-fi, but Hunger Games was the rabbit hole for me that, like, I'm still falling down to this day. Yeah, let's do Oathbound first. I think this is like one of the first physical copies of a book that I've ever held up on this channel. And of course, it had to be this one. I'm gonna put this down and you'll see the picture of it. But either way, you know it's right here and I got it in front of me. Oathbound is a whopping 650 pages. Now, is that enough for me? No. I fear it is not. Just because I could read 800 pages of Tracy's work and never get tired. That's how much I love her writing. Her style is very cinematic, and it took me a while to figure out why I liked her writing so much and land on the land on the word cinematic. But once it like popped up in my brain, I couldn't let it go. That's exactly, like, it describes her writing to a T. Everything is so well placed, and you can see the entire scene laid out in front of you and laid out in front of the character as they're moving through this. So she's always going to be a favorite of mine just because of that. Mind you, I watch a lot of movies, watch a lot of movies, watch a lot of TV, so of course I'm going to love cinematic writing in the books that I read. In this book, we're also getting multiple POVs. I would say split POV, but it's not just 2. It's a good amount. And if you haven't read Legend Born or haven't read Bloodmark, I'm not going to tell you who's doing the POV for Oathbound, because that would make no sense. But if you have read both of them, I'm still not going to tell you, because I still want you to be as surprised as I was going through that book. Now, I will say I did cheat. I was flipping through and like seeing who was narrating the chapter, and I would flip all the way through the chapter, not read none of it, and then see who's narrating the next one, because I am nosy and I needed to know that. I had to know that. I'm sorry. But there's a special section where one POV like shines, and I was so excited to see it, and I did let it be a surprise for me. I did not flip to the next section just because I was like, no, let me just wait and consume it the way it was meant to be consumed, you know? One thing that Oathbound and Sunrise on the Reaping have in common is the fact that they're like broken up into parts. And I didn't remember the Hunger Games being like that until I reread the first Hunger Games book and realized, yes, they are all broken up into parts. Because Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is broken up into parts, and the movie also is broken up into parts. So like, I don't know, I just didn't remember that like all of the books would be like that. Sunrise on the Reaping included, and Oathbound and Legend Born and Bloodmarked are also broken up into parts, which I like a lot, actually. Like, yes, it like makes like a hard line demarcation where the acts begin and where they end, but like, it's cool. And you get to name the parts, which is fantastic. Structurally, that's like the structure of the book. I love it, adore it. But there are also, Tracy's very good at planting seeds in scenes, or making this entire scene a seed and watering it through the entire book, and then the plant punches you in the face at the end of it because you didn't realize that was what was happening. And the thing is, I'm usually very good at paying attention and very good at like taking a step back from the narrative, piecing the things together myself, and then going back into it and knowing what I'm about to see next. I can never do that with her writing, ever. I can never ever do that with her writing. And the thing is, I can't do that with Suzanne's writing either. And like, because I read Suzanne at such a young age, I think I forgot that like her writing had that quality until getting to Tracy and being like, oh god, I've seen this film before and I don't like the ending at all. However, I didn't remember that both of them had that in common for me as a prophet, as somebody who is going to predict the plot within the 5 minutes of the movie starting, within reading the first couple pages of the book. That's why I don't read plot summaries no more for movies or for books, because I'm going to figure it out and I really don't want to. I want to be surprised. I want to enjoy this, and like not reading plot summaries allows me to do that. However, that's not a concern for this because you don't know what's going to happen at the end of this book. You're not Tracy. You don't know where this is going. So either way, she catches me off guard. She's able to catch me off guard really, really well, which I miss that feeling in books. I really do. So that's why I love The Legend of Motorcycle so much. Okay, this isn't a spoiler because like that's what all young fantasy stories are, but one of the entries I have on my reading journal on Storygraph said, child soldiers went into a war they did not start and didn't ask for. Welcome back, Avatar: The Last Airbender. The found family element in The Legend of Motorcycle is gonna eat so bad once they finish it. Like, once the found family is complete, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to touch it, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, for me to make a Avatar: The Last Airbender connection with your book is the highest, like the highest. I hold you in the highest regard possible, because oh my god, there is no found family like the original found family. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, oh my god, it's gonna be so good. Now mind you, Legend of Motorcycle, obviously we have 3 books right now. It's gonna be 4, so there's only 1 book left, and this is the book that like wasn't planned, if that makes sense. She knew the first, the second, but like this was the book that needed to be added before she can get to the last one. That makes sense. And people are saying things like, oh, it's filler, oh, it's filler. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Listen to me. Read the book. It's fantastic. Read the book. I would give Legendborn a 5 stars. Like, I would give it 7 stars if I could, but I can't. So I give it 5. And like, all my 5-star reads this year have been either rereads or by Tracy and Suzanne. And that's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. She's a fantastic writer, and I'm going to stand for the rest of my life. So, thank you. I think that's all the spoiler-free things I can say. She does a very good job of like pacing the scenes really well. She does she does a very good job of pacing the scenes really well. And there are also points in it where I'm just kind of like, you watched The Winter Soldier. Like, she likes spy movies. You can tell she likes spy movies and likes action thriller movies. And like, placing a black girl at the center of all of that is going to eat every single time. Guys, that's my review. It eats every single time. The fact that this sticker is still on here, I'm gonna try to get it off. I hate these. Why would you ever do this? Why? Just why is my only question. I just don't understand why y'all like to ruin my lovely cover with a nasty sticker. Have you seen the ones that are like, the sticker can't get off? You can't get the sticker off because it's printed on the cover. You should be... Actually, I'm not going to say what I think should happen to you, because the people are going to come get me if I say that. But, alright, I got it. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's do spoiler-free reviews for Summer the Reaping. No spoilers, no spoilers, no spoilers, I promise. However, that's gorgeous. There's a picture, there's a drawing, and like, I'm probably gonna post it on my TikTok, so I'll try to tag the art. Actually, I'll just use the whole thing. I'll put the whole tweet so you can see the artist in there, because her art is gorgeous. Not her. I actually don't know that person's pronouns, so their art is fantastic and adorable, and yeah, you ate. Sunrise on the Reaping, I couldn't do anything but, now both of them, actually this happened with both of the books, I couldn't do anything but sit there and stare at the wall. Like, I was just quiet. When I finish a good book, I'm like this. For at least 2 full minutes. 2 full minutes of me just sitting there. Because what is there to say? They've said it all. Like, that's why I have to give like an ample, like a sufficient couple of days before, like, from the time of me finishing the book to me like making a review, because I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I definitely don't want to talk about that. That just hurt my feelings. I don't want to talk about that. I don't know. I'm going to do my best to make coherent thoughts. Spoiler-free coherent thoughts. Now, we see Haymitch all the time. Like, Haymitch is in the entire original trilogy. We hear about his games in Catching Fire and I think a little bit in Hunger Games, but not really. Like mainly in Catching Fire and mainly in Mockingjay. And I was starting my Hunger Games reread when Sunrise on the Reaping came out, so I've only finished the Hunger Games book, and I started reading Catching Fire. If you're watching this, thank you for the bookmark. Either way, I started reading Catching Fire like last night because I needed to get back into it, and I really need to go through everything, like really need to dig through everything again. Because it was, I mean, I was never gonna finish all 3 Hunger Games book with Sunrise on the Reaping sitting on my bed. Like it was never gonna, I wasn't gonna be able to focus. I was gonna be speed reading through them so I could get to Sunrise on the Reaping. So I was like, whatever, let's just read this first. And I'm glad I did, because now I get to go into Catching Fire and Mockingjay with new eyes, like fresh eyes on everything. And if I was Haymitch and all that stuff that happened to me, I also would have been drinking and grieving for 24 years. And what were you going to do about it? Like, and what were you going to do about it? Haymitch, this isn't a spoiler obviously, because we know that Haymitch is, we know that Haymitch loses everyone he loves after his games. We know that because it's in Mockingjay. That's not a spoiler. Haymitch had so much more to lose though than Katniss, who's, you know, who leads the original trilogy, and then Coriolanus, who leads Ballad. Like, Haymitch had everything to lose. And like, only small things to gain. Like, Coriolanus had everything to gain from being a god-awful person and genuinely being like made and making choices that make him into this evil individual. He had more to gain than he did to lose, if that makes sense. He had already lost his parents. He didn't have any siblings. His house was crumbling. He was like extremely poor, always hungry. Like, he didn't have any means to survive for real. He had a cousin who he loved and a grandma who he loved. But mind you, it's his grandma, so she's on her way out anyway. And his cousin, sorry, that was crass. And his cousin who has like a job and is like able to do things for herself. So like, he had more to gain than he did to lose. Katniss, on the other hand, hers is almost 50-50. Like, she has a lot to lose. But if she wins the games, yes, she's traumatized, but she has the money and the security and all this other stuff to gain. Haymitch is fine. Like, Katniss and them are hungry, and like, they figured out a way to make it, but that money would be useful. Haymitch and them are fine. Haymitch and them are fine. He has a mom who works and like is functional and able, like a functioning parent. He lost his dad in the mines just like Katniss did, but instead of losing his mom to depression, to grief, to guilt, he doesn't lose his mom. His mom stays, and his mom is like cognitive and present and able to take care of them. So he doesn't have to become like the extreme sole provider that Katniss is, but he is able to like get a part-time job and like have friends and a girlfriend who he adores and loves. Back to that amazing art, who he adores and loves. He's able to have all those things. So being reaped means the end. Like, honest to God, means the end of his world. The end of his life, basically. He basically dies. Like, if you lose everything you love that fast, you die. Like, that's just kind of it. Haymitch sits in that Victor's Village house for 24 years by himself. Once again, not a spoiler. However, knowing all that, going into the book, you think you know where this is going. You think you have everything figured out. I promise to God you do not. You don't. And what's haunting the narrative, was really, really haunting the narrative. Several things are haunting the narrative. But the thing that haunted me the most was the how. How do you go from being this funny, like lighthearted, caring boy in the beginning to this man who is like spiteful and angry and hurt and like cares about nothing, like genuinely just does not have the energy or the means to be bothered with any of this. How these aren't even the same people. Like, the how of it all hurts the most for the book, and I think it's done really, really well, and she's able to weave in a lot of beloved characters and a lot of like things that we know about the games to be true, but ask you, is it really, like, is this really how it goes, or is it really true, or is it what they want you to think is true? Is it what the Capitol wants you to perceive as the truth? Is the entire like narrative of this book, and it's done so well. If this is the last book I ever get from Suzanne, I would be content with it, because Sunrise on the Reaping does everything that the 3 do in one book, and it hurts. It's only 390, like it's only 390 pages, and it hurts the entire time. The entire time. Actually, am I lying? Is it longer than 390? No, it's 382 actually, and the entire thing hurts. Be ready for that. Do I regret reading it? Absolutely not. Is it still 5 stars? 100%. Like, it's a fantastic book. Structurally, I think that it would be, it's the perfect middle. It's the perfect middle between Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and the first Hunger Games movie. When I say I mean the perfect middle ground, because Ballad is a musical. Like, that's a musical with Hunger Games. And the first Hunger Games movie is nowhere near that, but like, it's the perfect middle ground of, books are already art. Like, that's not a question. Books are art, but it is like the first, like, the real marrying of like art and like practicality. Because the first Hunger Games book really like feels practical, if that makes sense. Like, it feels really tactical, but Ballad feels more free. It feels more like flowy. The structure of it feels more like like colorful, like artistic. It is the like perfect marrying of like a colorful, flowy experience with the tactical realness of the first Hunger Games book, which was awesome. Which was awesome. I don't think that like I could have asked for anything more in Sunrise. It's devastating. It's a devastating read. An absolutely devastating read. The tears come, the tears go. Like, you will be welling up the entire book. But you have to read it. Like, it's not an option. It's not optional. It's required reading to hang out with me. You have to read Sunrise. So, get to it. Do Oathbound spoilers now. I'm finna put this down for real because we really finna get into it. Because, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Mariah and Alice first, because that's like my favorite thing to talk about. Mariah is the epitome of normal girl. She is a regular person who has been thrust into this. Bree from birth was always gonna be, I don't want to say extraordinary to Mariah's normal, but like, that's really what it is. Bree was always going to be extraordinary. She was always going to have some ridiculous amount of power and be able to wield it and do all this other crazy stuff. Mariah was just supposed to be a regular root crafter. Like, she's a regular root craft girl who goes to college. She minds her business. She does what she needs to do. And once Bree walks into her life, it's never the same again. I understand this is Bree's story. I would never try to change that at all. Bree's story is front and center. And because we get Mariah's POV, we see more of the story from her side. And the fight internally to know that she is enough to do this stuff and she doesn't have to be Bree, and everybody doesn't, and Bree don't even want to be Bree half the time, is such an interesting like dichotomy between those two, because like, they both have something that the other would desperately want or desperately need. Very much, I got a feeling you got everything you wanted. You're not wasting time stuck here like me. Like, it's that notion between the two of them. Like, it's like a very Harry Ron situation. Harry has the fame, the fortune, the name recognition, the journey, the like individuality. Everybody knows he is Harry Potter, while Ron has the family and the childhood and the love and the care that Harry wants, and Ron wants to be his own person, and that's Harry. That's very Mariah and Bree, and it never shows up in a form of like the animosity we see between Harry and Ron, like, as they're growing up. And it could be because they're a lot older than those two, but it does show up as insecurity. It does show up as, oh my god, can I do this? Oh my god, am I enough to do this? Bree, even, can I do this? Like, am I the right person for this? Shows up a lot in these two girls, which is really, really interesting. Because like, it bubbles down to, at the end of the day, you are the only person that can do your story and do it right. Like, you are the only person who can live your life and have it be like everything it's supposed to be. No one else can do that. It's just you, which is so awesome. But also, back to Mariah, we don't have Alice anymore. We don't have Bree's right hand anymore because she's comatose. Like, she's in a coma. So Mariah steps in and fills those shoes, but I'm deathly afraid that Mariah's going to die. Like, we're going to lose Mariah if we gain Alice. I don't think that we can exist in like this story with both of them. I don't think they both get to be at Bree's side, if that makes sense, because it's already leaning towards Bree's going to get both Syl and Nick. Like, she's not going to have to choose between the two of them. She's going to get both of them, but I don't think she gets both her friends. Like, I don't think she gets both her sidekicks. Like, I don't, that feels greedy. That feels greedy for a narrative. I don't know if you can make it past all of that. How are all of you still alive?
I mean, how are you all still alive?
All of us are.
Like, it's that notion, but with Mariah and Alice, which is, I ate that up. It was too good. Also, Bree's dad has a way of absolutely bringing me to tears every single time he gives her one of his pep talks, because my father would do the same thing, and like, seeing someone else have like such a similar experience and also be black, and have her dad also be black and bald, brings me to tears. Moves me to tears, I must say. But it's so nice for her to be able to still have that connection and have that like support in her life, that specific kind of support in her life, because she's been through so much and she's lost so much. And like, I wouldn't trade places with her. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't. Tracy also does diversity in a very intentional but effortless way. Like, Zoe being trans like falls into the story so easily and so effortless. It just flows. Like, it's not like a sticking point. She's just a person. And like, some authors do diversity so weird and so strange. And it could be because Tracy is black, so she understands the way diversity is supposed to be done. But like, it really brings into the conversation, like, this girl on TikTok was talking about how Rick remembered black people existed way later into Percy Jackson than he should have. And like, it's a choice. Not having diverse characters in your book is definitely a choice, and authors choose whether or not they want to have those characters in their book. And like, as much as that sucks to say, it's the truth. I adored the auction sequence. I loved the entire time. As soon as we found out they were going to be stuck at that auction for 3 full days, I screamed. I absolutely screamed. I was like, oh my god, you're kidding. This is going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. We're going to get, first of all, we're going to get all the tropes. We got all the tropes in the auction scene. That's why I'm like, how do people not like this book? Always filler, always filler. Y'all don't like the beach episode? Y'all don't like the beach episode. This is an auction episode. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. And my thing is, okay, I'm talking so fast. We all know that I am an Everlark stan, down to the core. My molecules have Everlark written on them. If you looked at my blood under a microscope, you would see Katniss and Peeta. I must say, that's never going anywhere. They're never going anywhere for me. And finding out that like Bree losing her memories is going to lead to a moment where she's able to fall in love with Nick again was like, oh my god, my heart hurt so bad. And I started floating. I literally started floating off the bed, because you're kidding. You're kidding. No way you found a way to work that in there. You're awesome. You're insane. Oh, I loved it. 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 And I think that like those are the real points I wanted to hit for the spoiler review, because like my sister is finally watching my videos because she sucks, and she's behind, guys. She's behind. Anyway, because this book is like allows us to see so many different POVs, we get so much more context for a lot of the other characters, which we never had in the beginning because it's only ever been Bree's POV. And adding Nick's POV lets us see genuinely how much he cares about her, like cracking skulls over her. Dance. Dance. And we will accept nothing less. We will accept nothing less than whatever he has going on, because oh my god, his entire confession about like his communion when he's going through that whole thing with Mikael is ridiculous. He loves her so deeply, and she realizes he's been yearning for her this entire time. I don't know how y'all can stand still. Like, he is, I don't know. I'm not saying he's not valuable to the story. I'm not saying he don't add things to the plot. What I am saying is, it's Nick. Well, I have so much more to say, but like I'm gonna stop. And like, if you want to hear me talk about like other random things that I love about Oathbound, you can like find them here. There are like a couple of videos where I'm just ranting about Oathbound. So yeah, we'll move on. We will move on. We will move on. Okay, now we head into spoilers. We head into spoilers for Sunrise. And I made the joke on my TikTok that this book lives right here, because it honest to God does. Like, it's like a sim player indicator green diamond thing, because girl, my favorite thing to talk about is the black characters in Hunger Games, because Suzanne is another person that does diversity well and does it intentionally in her books. Because Pan Am is supposed to be some kind of warped version of the United States, it's so easy to like place diverse characters in there and place characters of color. And we know that District 11 is the main district for black people, and they usually produce black tributes because it's a mainly black district. When they show it on the screen, it's almost completely black. And like, that's just kind of how it is. But BD is not from District 11. BD's from 3. And I've never thought about what that actually means about District 3, or thought about why District 3 isn't a part of the career pack. I mean, obviously I've had the fleeting thought, but the real like distinctive thought that District 3 isn't a part of, I'm gonna look it up right now. District 3 isn't a part of the career pack because they specialize in something that makes them not eligible for the career pack. Does that make sense? Right. District 3 is technology. Technology requires an insane amount of knowledge. Like, you have to be ridiculously smart to know how to code, to do software, to do all of this type of stuff. And Amber brings up the fact that, like, they think that District 3 are eggheads. If you're trying to, because the careers are just as vulnerable to propaganda as everybody else is. So if you're trying to use this, if you're trying to propaganda, I don't know. If you're trying to use all this propaganda in your favor to get these people to join the career academy at such a young age, so they can go and like volunteer and fight and die, somebody who has a ridiculous amount of knowledge and like has studied a lot isn't gonna want to do something like that. They're not left out of the career pack just because. That's definitely on purpose. That's definitely, and like, no, they don't have like the tactical skills that the rest of the districts have, but like, what do District 1 got? They're luxury. Like, do you hear what I'm saying? They left them out on purpose because they're not going to join that. They're not, it's much more likely for people with a higher education to side with the resistance. Like, that's just how it goes. It's just how it is. And the fact that BD is from there means they have black people. Like, it means they have, like, it means that they tried. They got a lot of them in District 12, but I don't think that they fully were able to take all of them to 11. So that means, at least by the time we get to Sunrise, there are black people almost everywhere. So the representation of Reaper and Thresh, Reaper, Thresh, and Beatty make up a interesting trifecta, because there's Beatty, who is the non-threatening egghead, which is there are a bunch of tropes that black characters, especially black men, usually fall into. Beatty, the non-threatening egghead, Thresh and Reaper, who are the like threatening, in your face, whatever, but like Thresh and Reaper also double as like regular black kids. Like, they're just black kids who have had this narrative thrusted upon them, and they've done nothing wrong. This girl on Stack was talking about how like most of the District 11 tributes will not attack you unless provoked. They don't try to come at you for real. They're trying to mind their business. Dill and Reaper mind their business throughout the entirety of the games. Thresh and Rue mind their business throughout the entirety of the games. They're just kind of out of the bit. They're kind of out of the way. They mind their business. They do what they got to do, and they're just trying to survive. And that's just how they are. But they're being perceived as being so dangerous. And like, Suzanne's awake. Like, Suzanne understands. She's here. She's with it. She's like understanding that this is a real representation for black people. And I think that once we move into Sunrise, and I told you about a lot of like black men that have been represented through her work, but when we move into Sunrise, we meet Luella and Lenore Dove, who are, they're black. I hate to break it to you, they're black. But Suzanne doesn't like describe any of the characters in this book, which I thought was very intentional, because you can make the distinction if you pay enough attention. However, she's not going to outwardly say this character is black, this character is Asian, this character is white, this character is Latino. Like, she's not going to say that. But if you pay enough attention, trust, you'll get it. Now, Luella, with her being almost mistaken for District 11, is obviously black. I think it is so funny that like, she's Hamish's neighbor. So like, when Hamish goes home, you know, like they embrace him as their own, which black people do, because Hamish just lost his mom and his sister, and they lost their baby. So like, they're embracing him as their own, which black people have been known to do. His girlfriend's Lenore Dove. Lenore Dove is black. Like, 9 out of 10 she is mixed, because Maud Ivory is her mom, and there's no like confirmation of who her daddy is. Now, she's raised black because Tam Amber is her uncle. Like, the conversation of children being dangerous is usually attached to children of color. That's just how it goes. And Lenore was arrested at 12 for minding her business. Not minding her business. She was in fact speaking out against the government. However, she was 12. She was seen as dangerous at 12. I'm sorry, who's usually associated with being dangerous at a young age? Who's usually associated with being perceived as older, or being forced to be viewed as older because of the color of their skin? Lenore Dove is black. And the fact that like a lot of people don't understand that is so funny to me. Between her and Lulu, this is a new thing. This is a new like sphere for Suzanne. We don't get a whole lot of black girls in the Hunger Games, and obviously they both died. So does Rue. So does everybody. But like, it's a new thing, and it's so interesting to think about and so interesting to talk about. I could talk about this forever. Like, oh, this is the last thing I want to say. No one haunts this narrative the way that Lucy Gray is going to ever haunt the narrative. People were talking about how they want Rachel Zegler to sing a song for the end of Sunrise. I beg. Oh, I beg. I need that bad. I need that bad. I need that bad. Like, for real, I need that bad. The All There Before being a funeral song, and you find that out. Katniss being basically Covey. Like, the amount of thought and care that went into this book, and like foresight and foreshadowing, Suzanne deserves every award she's ever gotten, and she gets the real like piece of my heart award, because it's so interesting, it's so intricate, and both delicate and abrasive. Like, I'm just saying words at this point. I could talk about this for the next 4 years of my life. So if you actually have anything you want to say about either of these books, please, dear God, comment, because I am begging. I need to have a conversation about these. Like, I love engaging on TikTok and on Twitter in the discourse. Like, it's like my favorite thing to do right now. So please, say whatever you gotta say, because I want to hear it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I could go on for the next 2 years about this stuff, but I won't. No, I will. I promise you, I will. That's all I have for you today. One last round of applause for both of my darling babies who will be near me for the rest of my life. Thank you. And a round of applause to you for clicking on this video and caring and listening and commenting. I love you so much. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you so much. And I will see you next time. And thank you. Good night. Mwah.